Hello, everyone. This is my transformation vlog, day 10. This is really late in the night, morning for me, and I'm normally a night owl, but I found myself getting caught up in writing some things for a site that I'm designing related to part of my calling. And it's interesting that it really kind of flowed out of me. It's one of those things where I was reminded from the Evolving Out Loud video, I believe it was the Limitation game, where right at the beginning, Kyle's talking about, well, if you've ever had a conversation, you have content. It was funny when I was talking about putting this post together, not the vlog, but the post that I just wrote. I imagine talking to somebody that I would be mentoring. I imagine talking to someone that I had mentored, and just kind of let it come out as a conversation. And it really just, almost effortlessly came out. I mean, it took a little bit for me to go through and edit and, say, all right, well, that may work conversationally. It doesn't work in a written piece. And so doing that, but literally the content just kind of poured out of me. And it was deceptively easy. Um, I'll put it that way. It felt like it took a long time, but it really did just kind of come out without me having to do much thinking about it because I was just pouring from my experience, I was pouring from my understanding, I was pouring from my insights. And, that took no effort at all once I opened up to it. So, I guess part of why I say this is to say, who knew? Kyle's right. When it's something that's coming from your truth, it really does just kind of pour out of you. I've seen some of the artwork that some of the members of the EOL community have done recently. Some beautiful pieces, and I would imagine it was probably similar to that. I mean, not to say that it was without effort. I mean, obviously you've got to put the work in to get the piece the way that you want it, but I would imagine the vision and the execution of that was not something forced or not anything that they had to put a whole lot of extra effort into in order to make it what they wanted. Really, just more fine tuning the points, and I'm guessing I could be very much off, but that was my experience where the base of the content was something that could easily be carried on conversationally, but because we're talking about it for a written piece, yeah, there's some fine tuning, there's some tweaks there, but I was just amazed at how easily, how effortlessly that came out of me, and the fact that it basically wouldn't let me stop until I was done with that particular topic. Um, I've written poetry before, and I've had the I don't write because I want to, I write because I have to. And when those moments come, it's very similar. It's like it just came out of me because it needed to come out of me. So it was unique to have that experience with something that is work related or calling related. To know that that does in fact happen, and it can be that simple. Now that was the easy part. Looking at building, the business that I'm trying to build, it's not a small task. It's not a small task at all. There's a lot of moving pieces to this. There's a lot of aspects that need to be managed more so than I could conceivably do on my own. But it was very interesting to me as I was kind of picking these pieces apart and laying them out in terms of building a full business that people started to come to mind. Folks that I had worked with, folks that I'm friends with, family members of mine, former neighbors. Names just started coming up of, oh, well, they've got that skill set. They could do this. They could do that. Now, will it ultimately be those people? I have no idea. I have no idea. It could be somebody connected to them, it could be somebody completely different. But the sheer fact that I could come up with someone in almost all instances that had the skill set for what I was looking to do means that I've already got assets that can help me drive this forward in one way or another. And I'm sure I'm connected to assets long beyond that. Just looking at the 6 degrees of separation, not even counting the rest of the universe and what the universe decides to bring in. So while it's a very large task, it's not a small thing at all. The initial impact was that, oh my God, this is overwhelming. What am I trying to take on? But as the names, as the resources, as the skills, as the, even the post that I wrote earlier came out and just kind of came out effortlessly, there was an acceptance, a calm, to some degree, a peace about it that, you know what, this is not all for me to do myself. There will be more people that come along, kind of similar to the gaming metaphor, the gaming journey that I was telling you about with role playing games. There will be other members of the team that come along. I don't know who they are right now. I probably won't know until they make themselves plain, appear, or I happen across them. But to know that these things can be done, and I already have a sense of what configuration is needed to make these things be done, gives me a lot more confidence than I would have otherwise, because there are definitely some areas needed that are entirely outside of my skill set. And this would be daunting if I didn't have a sense of, I don't know how to do it, but I do know people that do. So that even as I'm coming across these new team members, I can still vet abilities to an extent. I can vet, their credentials or experience to an extent. And I'm sure the connection itself will draw in what's needed. But from the last vestiges of the ego me, the brain me, that is still trying to analyze it all rather than just entirely let it flow. That was very comforting, and it was very helpful to quiet that part of me, which would have previously just kind of spun this into oblivion and I'd never go forward. But I feel more confident that there is a way forward now that can and will work. Now it's just a matter of letting the universe bring that to me, and letting things happen as they're meant to. So that's all I've got for today. It's been an interesting day, and there's some things I might reflect on for tomorrow, but I think this covers what I wanted to talk about today. So, as usual, don't have the answers, just asking the questions and letting the universe bring the answers to me. Hope you all have a great day. God bless.